Hey, what's up guys? Brad with Squared Away every day, and today we are going to be talking about the Corvette E Ray for 2024 and why I think it is going to be the performance car to have in 2024. They say maybe end of 23, but none of us are getting it before 2024. That's for damn sure. But we're going to be talking about why it is such a cool vehicle, and in my particular opinion, it is so cool because it has many, if not all, of the awesome features of owning an electric vehicle while still maintaining all the reasons why you'd still want to own the internal combustion engine performance vehicle. So if you like this kind of content, please go ahead and give me a like, give me a sub, and let's hop into the video. Okay, so the coolest thing about the Corvette E Ray, just off the bat, is going to be that it is all-wheel drive. Now, living in Colorado, a state where we get a lot of inclement weather in the wintertime for about half the year, there's that saying, never summer in Colorado, it's super important to have, if you're gonna have a sports car, a performance car that you wanna drive regularly, it's super important to have all-wheel drive. And when I went to the Corvette C8 Z06 and Z07 launch back in July, that was my main question for them, is why aren't you doing this in an all-wheel drive variant? Well, the new Corvette E Ray is all-wheel drive, and even better yet, it doesn't just come on summer tires, it comes standard equipped with an all-season tire, which is just super, super awesome, and I'm incredibly excited about that. Now, we also talked about that it has characteristics of an electric vehicle while still maintaining the best parts of an internal combustion engine vehicle. Now, one of the coolest things that I think is going to be applied to the vehicle is something called stealth mode to the Corvette E Ray. And stealth mode essentially allows you to drive with just the electric motor. Now, this isn't something to where you can just drive around town on just the electric motor alone. The electric motor is 160 horsepower and only puts out like 125 foot-pounds of torque. So it's not really that powerful, but what it does allow you to do is drive 3 to 4 miles on just pure electric mode alone. And what I'm hoping for is that you can preheat and pre-cool this vehicle in your garage, and you can use the stealth mode or the electric mode to go ahead and get in and out of your garage, preheat, pre-cool, and even at the very least, I'm one of those guys, I'm weird about it, I hate getting in and out of the garage smelling exhaust. I hate that, and for everybody that tells me, oh Brad, you're such an idiot for that. Am I really an idiot? If you went in the garage and closed the door and left the car running in your internal combustion engine vehicle, you would not be doing too good at all. Let's just say that. So don't do that, but nonetheless, there's a reason why I don't want to be smelling even whiffs of exhaust coming in and out of the garage and having it permeate into my drywall. So I think that is a super cool feature, and hopefully we can preheat and pre-cool in stealth mode. That would be awesome. Now, the next thing that is an electric car characteristic is going to be the Charge Plus mode that you can get into, because naturally the battery component of the electric motor will drain, and so you can still drive the vehicle if the battery is completely drained for the electric battery. But what you can do to charge that sucker up, because we don't plug these cars in, it's a hybrid, you don't plug the car in. So what we do is you can put it just naturally when you drive the car, it will charge the batteries for the electric motor, but you can also put it into something called Charge Plus. Now, me living in Colorado, that is something that's awesome. These highways are going to mean nothing to you unless you live in Colorado, but if you're coming down like I-70 or 285, which is just a downhill grade, essentially is what it is for a long duration of time, then you can just put on Charge Plus, and that sucker will just hold you back, just like regen braking would in a Tesla. And I think that is super cool. Save your brakes and charge that battery all at the same time, and I think that's freaking awesome. Now, a really cool thing, like I said, this is a hybrid, so it kind of combines the electric vehicle and the internal combustion engine vehicle components. And so the cool thing is the new Corvette E Ray is going to incorporate the same transmission and V8 motor as the standard C8 Z06, which is really, really cool. Except that the electric motor is, as I said, going to put out about 160 horsepower and an additional 125 foot-pound of torque, which is really, really cool. Now, The standard horsepower in the C8 Z06 is 670 horsepower. The horsepower coming out of the coming out of the Corvette E Ray is going to be 655 horsepower. So it's just slightly less than that C8, but Chevy says that it's actually going to be a faster vehicle. So what does that mean? Well, the 0 to 60 time is projected to be 2.5 seconds, and the quarter mile time is projected to be a 10.5 second quarter mile time, which is just incredible. Like, that's awesome. When you're talking about a 2.5 second 0 to 60 time, you are rivaling the Tesla Model S Plaid there, which is one of the fastest production vehicles you can buy to just take it down the track or get your 0 to 60 time. So that is super cool. Still, the Plaid is going to be slightly quicker when we're talking about the overall quarter mile time, but that is very fast nonetheless, and I'm super excited about it. Now, not only that, since we have the electric motor and it's still an internal combustion engine vehicle, the sound is very, very good. I've heard different videos and stuff like that of people who were there when they launched this vehicle, and the sound of not only the electric motor sounds really crazy. It sounds kind of wild when it's just in stealth mode. It's very quiet, but it has an interesting sound to it. But the combination of the V8 and the electric motor sounds awesome. The exhaust notes are great, and the engine noise is really, really great, and I'm super stoked for that because, in my personal opinion, speed is the ultimate priority when we're talking about performance vehicles. However, people get used to speed really, really quickly. Like, so I've owned a Model S Plaid and a Model X Plaid, and you get used to the speed very quickly. I know that sounds weird, but you get used to the speed quickly. So it really then boils down to, like, what is the character of the car? How does the car sound and feel when you're accelerating in it? And so that's a really important aspect to me personally, is that sound of the V8 and the exhaust notes and the motor themselves sound really, really good. Now, the last performance characteristic we'll talk about is going to be that this comes standard with carbon ceramic brakes, which is really awesome because many times when you get this option from just anybody, whether it's Porsche or Tesla or anybody, it's going to cost you about $20,000 for a carbon ceramic brake. And when we talk about the price of the vehicle, the price is so good considering everything you get in this. A great American effort, a 0 to 60 time of 2.5 seconds. We've got stealth mode. We've got the Charge Plus mode. We've got a quarter mile time of 10.5 seconds. And then on top of all that, we have carbon ceramic brakes for what? What's the price? It's starting at $104,000. Now, you and I both know that the ADMs is going to be insane when you go to get these from the dealer, but it will calm down, and eventually you'll be able to buy these cars starting at $104,000. I'm sure you can option those suckers out to, maybe $150,000, $140,000, but starting out base model $104K, and it comes with all those features we just previously talked about, which is an incredibly good value and a great American effort that I'm willing to support. Now, the final thing is just closing up here of why this car I think is so cool is that this car is meant to be more of a luxury version of the Corvette C8, which I think is super awesome. Now, you have cars in the industry that everybody thinks is cool, myself included, like the Porsche GT3s and the Cayman GT4s and all of these cool track-focused vehicles, but the reality is most of us are never going to see a track in that vehicle, and really what it does is it just makes the ride of the vehicle less comfortable, and so really it's pretty impractical when you talk about that. So this particular vehicle is gauged to be the luxury version of a Corvette C8, which is super cool because now, rather than having a super tight, rough suspension like we're going to have in a Corvette C8 Z06, this is more geared towards like a Z51 type suspension in just the standard C8 Stingray, which I'm all for. Now, we also talk about the aesthetics of the vehicle. You can actually get painted trim like in the air vent on the side, which would normally be black, accents on the trim and stuff in just the regular Stingray and the C8. And so I like that. I would like to be able to do some painted trim pieces and stuff like that to match it. So they're trying to be a little bit more subdued, not quite as track or race focused on the aesthetic of the vehicle, which I think is a good move. And then one thing that is kind of a bummer is in the C8 Z06, the exhaust, all four exhaust pipes are kind of like jumbled up in the middle of it, and it looks awesome. On this one, the two exhaust pipes are kind of split, which kind of sucks, but it just, again, is playing into them being more of a luxurious vehicle rather than a track-focused, super sporty looking vehicle. Not that it's not sporty, but just not as sporty and cracky, if that's a word. Finally, the last thing I'd like to say that is just awesome, and I can certainly appreciate having owned a ton of Teslas and having a frunk, is going to be a soft close frunk on these particular vehicles. Now that's awesome for a couple different reasons. Like on the Tesla, for example, if you close those a little too hard, you'll dent in the front of the hood trying to push those closed if you're not using like two hands and you're just using your knuckles. I've seen plenty of Teslas, Model S's, 3s, Ys, X's, all of them with little dents on the front, and it's real hard to tell, but you can see it if people weren't very diligent in closing that front trunk. And so a soft close is nice. You just slam it and then it sucks in, and you don't got to touch it, and you don't got to get your little dirty paws all over it right after you cleaned it. So super stuff, super excited for the Corvette E Ray, and as soon as I get my chance to get my hands on it and drive one, I'll make a video here. But if you guys like this kind of content and you think the car is going to be awesome, let me know in the comment section down below. If you don't think it's going to be that great, let me know in the comment section down below why you think that, and I will see you in the next one.